Hello and welcome to another Spotlight Photographics new product announcement. We're excited today to talk about the new Game Day Sportswear Volume 4 Metal Edition, available at Spotlight Photographics, also available on our website store, the Photo Solutions Market, www.photosolutionsmarket.com. These templates are designed for use at Colorado Timberline for the PCM Durango style full sublimated shirts, and this is like I said, the fourth volume, and we have taken the metal designs that have already been released for the panoramics and the game day banners and have also merged them into the shirts so that now you can have a complete set of banners, panoramics, and now the sportswear that all match each other. So let's go through some of these designs. We're going to show you how each one of them work and how easy it is to change the colors in them and drag and drop your own photos. So the first thing we're going to go through is just going to quickly go through the different designs. This design is the Backsplash, and of course if you've seen the other designs on the banners and the panoramics, you'll notice how these theme the same. And if you haven't, check out our other videos or go to our website and look at those designs. So right here we have the Backsplash, the bracket, the grill, Ironside, Metaelectric, Metal Stars, Rivet, Smash, Spin, and Street. So let's go into these real quick and show you how each one of these works very briefly here. So what you'll see when you first open your DVD is you will have a set of templates as a front and a back file. So when we bring in Backsplash, for example, you want to bring in both the front and the back. And you'll see that they already have the samples on there, the sample team names. The back will have the sample player in there and everything, so that you know where to drop your person into. So if you were changing this to a different person, in fact, let's bring in Street. We'll just switch these back and forth here. So if you can see, Street is red initially, and the Backsplash is blue. So let's say we wanted to actually use this red player on Backsplash. So what we would do is come into our players layer, and we would go ahead and remove that layer, and without clicking on anything over in your palette, you would simply drag in your already cut out image, just assuming that this is just a cut out image that we had, and drag and drop, and then size it to where you'd want it to go. So now what we need to do is we need to color change this over to this guy's team's color. So very easily, if you come over to your layers, you'll see different layers that have color overlay functions in this template. We'll also have a background gradient overlay. To change the gradient overlay, we would simply click on gradient overlay twice, and it will pop up your layer style. As you can see, we have the gradient color here. If we click right on that gradient color, it's going to pop up the palette. At this point, we would just double click on our color, change it to the color we want it to be. So we're going to go red, and we just say OK all the way out. Now we need to change the color of these color bars. As you can see, there's two of them. These also use a color overlay, so it works the same as the gradient overlay, simply double clicking on color overlay and changing that to red. And we will repeat that to the other color bar, and now we've changed that over to red. So now we'll go to the jersey number. We'll see that the character, just like if any text, has a color of blue. So we simply click on the changing the color layer by clicking on that, changing that to the red, and clicking OK. Now you can see that we lost a little bit of the texture on this because it was set up as a color dodge. Now some colors will function differently. If we go back to the jersey number on this and we just darken that red down, that should help us out. We'll zoom in here a little bit. You can also come to the texture and change the blending modes on that to fit how you'd like it as well. So just by changing the blending modes, it may have a couple different looks on that. So let's go into the name, and the last name is going to function the same. if we change that to red and then change our color blending mode for the texture, and now we have it red. Changing the text on any of the templates is as simple as highlighting with the text tool. So if we want to change this guy's name to Davis, we can do that, and simply using the Control T or the free transform, we can just stretch that name to fit. And you want to stay within the same bounds as we had the original things in, so that they fit on the shirts correctly. And then the first name, obviously, we'll call him James. And that's how easy it is to change the backsplash to another color. Now the backsplash front, it's going to function the exact same, and then once we're done changing the colors around, we would simply just save these as JPEGs and then upload those to Colorado Timberline for printing. If you'd like to know more about that, you can go to our YouTube channel under Spotlight Photographics and look for the Colorado Timberline ordering tutorial. So let's go ahead and get out of the backsplash template now. And let's look at street. We've got that one up. So we'll just change the colors on this without bringing another person in. So this one is probably one of the most complicated templates on this set. So the first one we showed was one of the simpler ones. This one's going to be a little bit more complex, but the nice thing about any of our templates is everything that you're looking at is the same theories of changing things. It just might have more things to change. So for example, we'll start at the bottom, always work our way up, and we see we have a color overlay here. Double clicking on that, we see that color overlay was set as red. So if we're going to change this over to blue, we'll just change that to blue. Now you might not see anything right away. That's just due to whatever layers are above that may change it, but you always want to start from the bottom and work your way up. So right now we have a hue and saturation layer here. To change hue and saturation, double click on this icon right here, and that's going to pull up a bar, and that way you can start moving that bar and changing the color to where you need it. So alright, so now we got it blue. So let's work our way up a little bit more. Now you can always turn off items to see what items those are, but we're just going to keep working our way up till we see another color overlay. So we see color overlay here, we'll double click on that, change that red to blue, and you can see that changed right here, this line that comes out. So we'll keep moving our way up. There's another color overlay, change that to blue, keep moving up, color overlay red, change it to blue, and we're changing all of the colors in the boxes right now. Changing it to blue, working our way up again, we see another color overlay here, and we see that is set to red, so we'll again change that to blue, and now that changed that main one there. Moving on up, there's one more, and you see there's a lot of different layers in these. That way you can remove items if you want to remove them, if you want to change them. You have the ability to. We never flatten anything down. Alright, so we're moving on all the way up, and we can see now that we are at our last name. So we look at our character properties of that. It's red. We want that obviously to be blue now, and we've changed this over to blue. Now at this point I would save that out as a JPEG, or actually I would save this as a PSD file and rename it to blue. That way if you ever need to come back to this for this school or this team, you've already got it done. Because a lot of times you'll sell, you know, maybe 6 or 7 shirts to the team, they get them back, everybody goes crazy and they want more. So this way you save that template so that you don't have to reproduce it and try to match what you'd already done. You already have it. So again, on the front it's going to be the same thing. You'll change the colors the same way, and then you'll be out and running. Now the one thing I do want to show you that I haven't mentioned yet is on the top layer of all of our templates we have included the Colorado Timberline Safe Zone guides. So if you come up to the top, you'll see they're turned off, but if you turn them on, you'll see that this is the front view. Now before you turn them on, you'll notice that there's a lot of dead space on this. And a lot of people think, well, I need to fill this all up, and I need to, you know, stretch images out and fill it all up. You don't want to do that. You want to keep this inside the template. Now, we'll explain a little bit about how these safe zones work at Colorado Timberline. Obviously, the white area here on the outside, that's all going to be gone. Very likely, you'll never see any of this on the template. Even though the design does go all the way to the borders, that's just how they print this to go on the shirt, so we have to have that full bleed. Now, this inner shaded area between the pink and the dotted line, this is going to be the kind of safe zone, is what I like to call it. I would never put anything important in there. Don't put words, don't put text, don't put images that you don't want to be lost when the shirt is printed. But again, we have to have that design stretch around. Inside of the pink area is going to be on the shirt. That, depending on where it is going to be on the shirt, is the next question, though. What I've done is made these guides down the middle, these two main guides, and then there's one down the center, and that's your center line of the shirt. But these two guides here and here are saying that keep everything inside this, because this is going to be the main body of the shirt. The last thing you want to do is make your words run around the corner of someone's body, because then when they have their arms down, they're not going to be able to be you're not going to be able to read them. So what I've done is made an area that you want to keep everything inside of. So you can see that the B on the Broncos and the S on the Broncos don't go farther than those two lines that I put, and that's going to ensure that that's going to be on the chest. Now, after that line, this is where, from here all the way to the dotted line, that's what's going to be wrapping around the side of their body. So you really don't want to put anything between my guide that I've added in here and the side of the shirt here. So that's how safe zones work. And if you're on the back side, you'll see that we have the back guide, and you'll notice that there's a lot of room between the bottom and the bottom here, and that's because when you get to a certain size at Colorado, the shirts don't expand in proportion any longer. They get wider, yet they don't get any taller. So as shirts get bigger, I think it's an XL or a 2XL, this safe zone, this bottom area actually creeps up a lot. But if you stay everything within inside this pink zone towards the bottom, you're going to be okay on any shirt that you have printed. So make sure that you don't put anything farther than that. Alright, so let's go to another design now, closing these out. And let's bring in bracket. Bracket's going to be one of the simpler ones to actually do. There's not a whole lot of moving parts in this one. It's very simple. We'll go to the back side here. And we have, just like we did before, we start at the bottom. So we work our way up. We see a color overlay there. And let's change this one over to, we'll say green. So we're going to change that to green. We've changed that there. Color overlay here, changing that also to green. And continuing up, we have our last name once again. You can tell this is orange by the color character property. We'll change that over to green. And then we have something new. On the jersey number, we now have a stroke. And you can see that there's an orange stroke around that jersey number. So if we double click on stroke, you'll see that the color orange is here. By clicking on the color, it brings up the palette. Select your green, and you're out. So now you've got it green. Obviously, fire is not going to change color. If you wanted to change color of the fire, you can, but typically, you keep fire. So that's how simple it is to change this one over. Now, I did miss one thing. I think the name, the first name, does have a color. It was already green, but if we want to make that yellow, there you go. Changing it to yellow. All right, and the front again does the same properties. So let's move out of this one and let's move over to grill. Grill is also one of the ones that's very simple. Here's our back and here's our front. And let's work on the back here, starting at the bottom. We have a color overlay at the bottom. This is going to be for the gradient. So let's change this template over to orange. That looks pretty cool. Alright, so moving up, we now have, let's keep going, there's a color overlay, and we'll change that to orange. Now a little tip, if you found the orange that you want, you can copy this letter and number combination down here at the bottom, and next time you find a color, you can come up and just paste that instead of having to use the color picker, and it's going to match. Alright, so we'll keep moving up. Paste that color in again. Color overlay. Paste it in. And now we're left with just the number. So we go with our jersey number, and this one's going to have actually 2 color changes to it. Obviously the main color of the logo right now is white. You can always change that. If you wanted to make that your orange, you could. I'm just going to keep it white. And we have a stroke, and you can see the stroke is black. And you have an inner glow. That's a new one, inner glow. Again, clicking on the color always is going to bring up your color picker, and then we can paste our orange color in right there. And we go up to our first name. You can see that it's blue there. And we can click on our color, paste in our orange, and there you go. You've got that one switched over. Again, the front side will do the same thing, and we'll move on. Alright, we're going to go to Ironside. Ironside has a lot of layers to it as well. This metal series really has a lot of depth to it. Let's start at the bottom here. We got a color overlay. That one's gray. I'm not going to touch it. If I don't see a color in my color overlays, I typically leave it alone so that I get the same look. If it's not the green color I'm looking at here, and I don't like the result that comes out with my color, I'll go back there and change those. But for right now, I'm only looking for the color that I want to change from the original design. So I'm looking for all green. So color overlay there, there's a green. Let's change this template over to blue. Again, let's copy that now that I got the right color. Okay, we're going to keep going up. There's that other color overlay there. It was green, so that means we're going to change it. Now I do see a stroke. Whenever you see a stroke, check that out. That one's black, but our inner glow, as you see right here, is green, so we want to change that to blue. And I think we missed one down here. Yes, we did. Inner glow. Changing that to blue. And let's keep moving up. There's another light burst with the color overlay on it. That was pretty quick. So now we've changed it over to blue. Changing the text again, no different than the other ones. You can highlight it with your text tool, type it, you're all done. On the back we have the same exact setups. The only difference on the back than was on the front is we have the jersey number with a inner glow on it of yellow. So if we were going, just change this one over real quick. We have the inner color of that one on green, so we're going to change that over to blue. That looks pretty nice. Let's change that inner glow to, let's say, white. Yeah. Okay. And we'll just quickly go down this again. So we've got a color overlay, no on those two. There's our burst color overlay, changing that to blue. We have our inner glow. And again, when you're done with this, save it as a template. Don't just, have to go back and redo it all over again. You can have a lot of different color combinations. You can tailor them to any of your teams. You don't have to worry about, will that look good for the team I'm working with? You can make it that way. You can make sure that everything that you're working on is going to end up being matched to the team that you have. And once you play with them a couple times, it's obviously a lot quicker. So there we go. Change that over to blue. Actually, I like it better blue than it was green. Alright, so let's move on to Metaelectric. Now yes, this is a merged name. It's not really a real word. We wanted to call this electric and have the metal in it at the same time, so we just smashed both words together and called it Metaelectric. But again, it works the same as all of the other ones. We start at the bottom, and this one has a new feature to it. we now have a shape color. You can see that there's a shape with a little icon over here in front of it. So what we'll do is double click on that. It will pull up this. We can see that it's blue. And let's change this one over to green. Let's do red on this one. Change the shape color there. Change it to red. And we'll change these spikes. Again, color overlays. And we can also do them white. Let's do white on those two spikes there. And then let's do the small spikes. Change those over to kind of a silver. There we go. Now you can see we missed something. We got that right shape there, had a stroke to them. So we'll go back and we'll say, okay, we want to change that yellow stroke to white. And change that yellow stroke to white. And there you go. Change that over pretty good. So that's how quickly and easily it is to use Metaelectric and change that over to whatever color you're looking for. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Metal Stars. Metal Stars is kind of our cheerleading dance. It's got, you know, the stars and the wavy, pretty lines in it. And we will take care of this one. Again, starting from the bottom, going up to the top. We have a gradient overlay here, and you can see that we have the colors. And we will double click here. And let's change this one to red. And let's copy that because we're going to be doing a lot of color changing on this one. And we'll keep going up. Gradient overlay. And we have a bottom shine here with a color adjustment layer like we showed earlier. Double clicking on the color adjustment layer, we'll take this slider bar and we will move it to, tell you what, let's come back to this one because we have some layers above this that are changing the color, so we'll come back to that for right now. We'll just put that back to where it was. Let's change the colors that are above that layer first on this template. Again, pasting our number. And again, until you get everything in here, now this is one of those other ones that this color didn't work well with the texture overlay, so we're just going to search through texture overlay functions until we like the one we find. I like that one. So let's see, that was the hard light. So we want to remember that because we're going to be doing it again on this side, and we'll just change that to hard light. I think we changed the wrong layer. Change that to hard light. There we go. Alright, now we got some more gradient overlays we got to take care of on some stars. And the reason there's so many is because we want you to be able to edit this if you wanted to. Obviously, if you wanted to remove the stars, you didn't want them there, you could take them off. Okay, we're going to keep going up the lines. Just clicking on color overlay. You can see how this is starting to move to where we want it. Okay, now we've got all those done, so let's now go down to that bottom shine again, and let's take care of that red. There we go. Alright, we've got that switched over to red. Except for one thing, looks like we've got some strokes going on there. So let's go down there and click on there, and yep, we got the strokes on those again. That was blue. Let's turn those to red. Always step back and look at it before you go any further. And we're done. Save that out as our red template, and you're good to go. Let's close that out. Going over to Rivet. Rivet was one of our popular ones as well. This one looks really cool when it was printed. And we do the same things. Starting from the bottom, we have a color overlay of red. We'll go over to blue. Copy that color. And let's start moving our way up. We got a shape color right there. Let's change that. You can see that changed that to blue right there. And we have another shape color here. Looks like we got a color overlay. Yep, that's red. Let's change that over to blue. There's a little shape. Color overlay. And we got the two lines at the bottom. There you go. Changed over to blue. Very, very simple. Alright, let's move on to another one. We're almost done. We've got 2 left. Again, there's 10 designs in this entire set. 10 different ones. Alright, let's start on this one here. We've got some colors at the bottom, and let's go to let's do purple on this one. Let's get crazy. Alright, let's go with that color right there. Alright, so we're going to keep going up. Looks like we got a shape with a color on it. Switch that out. Keep going up. Shape with a color. Now, if you haven't figured it out already, this is the quickest template to color change, because now we're done. So it's very simple to do. I'll show you the backside, seeing that took so long. Putting purple there. Purple there. Purple. And where's that last one hiding? There he is. Alright. Change that one over to purple. That is Smash. And the last and final one we have is Spin. Spin again is the front and back, and we'll start at the bottom on Spin. Clicking on the color overlay here, and let's go to, see, what color do we want to do? Let's do yellow. I haven't done that yet. Alright, there we go. Starting there. I don't remember, did I copy that color or not? There we go. Let's go. We have a shape here. It's got a color of blue. Put yellow in there. Now, they don't always change color, because some of the shapes were just made, they had a color on them, so obviously that is not what changes the color of that. So if you see that happen and nothing happened on the template when you changed the color, that means that that was not actually a color changeable shape. So we need to change something that's above that. So let's move up here. It looks like we have a color overlay right there. That one is set to blue. If we change that to yellow, there we go. So that means I know that this is not a color shape here, but the color overlay on that texture is what changes this color. There you go. Change that one over to yellow. This is another template that's very quick to color change. It's literally just 3 different places. You've got the color overlay for the texture of the background. You've got the 2 overlays on the textures of the side panels. And that's it. That's all. Change that over to yellow pretty quick. So again, this was the Game Day Sportswear PSD Template Volume 4 Metal Edition, now available on our website, photosolutionsmarket.com. You can also go to spotlightphotographics.com and click on the Sportswear tab, and that'll take you directly to the Sportswear catalogs. This is the 4th volume. We have 3 other really good volumes ahead of this one. 1, 2, 3, and again, this is 4. To use all of the templates, you will need to have Adobe Photoshop. These will not work in Elements. It will not allow you to do color changing. You'll be able to open them in Elements, however, you will not be able to change any of the colors. So if you like the red template, that is all you're going to have if you use it in Elements. But we do recommend, if you have Photoshop, it needs to be at least Photoshop 4 or above for any of our new volumes coming out. They are designed in 6, but they don't use any different techniques that aren't available in the lower versions. If you're on the cloud version, then you are totally fine, and anything should work for you. Again, if you have any questions, you can always give me a call at 904-398-4355, or click on the Contact Us link on our website, spotlightphotographics.com, or visit our store again, photosolutionsmarket.com. Thanks again, and we look forward to releasing another great product to you in the near future. Keep your eyes open. Have a great day.